Hi everyone and welcome to Bear Clooney Watches channel. As you can see today we're starting directly from Bear Clooney Watches studio, all for the reason of me having a bad hair day. I'm just kidding. All for the reason of reducing time on the video because some of you are complaining that some of my videos are too long. Okay, here we go. Today's video, I'm presenting to you what I consider to be the best under $2,000 chronograph. Swiss made chronograph coming from highly reputable company Hamilton. You know, I tend to be always referring the people who are looking into entering this hobby and they are looking for the Swiss watch. Hamilton is brand of the wonderful history, solid quality, and it's a great entry-level watch brand. Now, I do want to kind of touch on a couple of things before we start. I want to thank a couple of people. First, I'd like to thank Aaron, my dear friend from Quebec, from beautiful city of Montreal, the owner of the combat straps, who has made this beautiful leather strap as per my instructions, which is nicely kind of capturing the racing heritage of this kind of chronograph. And it is a beautiful racing strap of the highest quality. In all honesty, this guy does such a fantastic job. He doesn't even need to advertise. He doesn't need to say much, but I do feel obligated to mention to you that this is not regular strap that comes with it, which is unfortunately of substandard quality. And it takes a lot for me to take strap that is original of the watch. This is a so-called genuine leather style strap, very flimsy, very poorly made. Some people disagree. Some feel that that is nicely giving a feel of the heritage watch. And I would live with that as long as this is not so of a low quality and poorly done. If you ask me, this is the poorest component to this otherwise a wonderful watch. So we'll leave that on the side. Once again, take a look at this beautiful thickness. Take a look at this nice contrast that complements overall the look of this panda dial. And you know what? Panda dials, they are not just recently, they're always a hot ticket item in the watch world, starting with vintage. And no wonder the brands are just jumping on the wagon of producing something that excites people aesthetically, and panda dials are definitely a way to go. Their original, the original issue that they did with the Hamilton Intramatic was actually a reverse panda dial, and it was also a larger watch, and I think it did not meet the expectations from the watch enthusiast. I think this is the answer to our prayers when it comes to watch Intramatic chronograph coming from Hamilton. So the other person I really want to thank is my authorized dealer, Anthony, for this wonderful gift. He knows how much I love the gadgets from the watch companies, and this is a special one which so nicely complements the presentation of this watch today. A little Hamilton airplane with a truly cool look on it. I just love this little thing, and I'm very thankful for any gift. So Anthony, keep them coming because you know how much I appreciate them. Going back to presentation of the watch, thanking two great people is over, and now we are looking at this lovable cuddly panda bear face You see, as I said, Intramatic 68 Chrono was the first issued re-edition of the heritage piece, which we have a heritage piece right here. So you will also understand why this version is so popular, because I think it most resembles the original heritage piece. Now, the modern watch that took design cues from several vintage chronographs, and Hamilton then further refined the vintage aesthetics with the Intramatic Auto Chrono and made the Hamilton Intramatic 68 Chrono. I think the chief complaint with the 68 was the overly large case dimensions. It was 42 millimeters, and it was 22 millimeter lug between the lugs. And I would say that wasn't really a great proportions for this type of watch. It was not well received. So they remedied this with issue of this Panda dial, which is 40 millimeter case with 20 millimeter between the lugs, and the proportions are just perfect. Now, thickness is there, it's same because of the type of the movement, but it sits so much nicer on the wrist. We'll do the wrist shot, but look at this. It's a beautiful, beautiful watch. Proportions are gorgeous, capturing this heritage Panda dial, just beautiful. So it is 14.6 millimeter thick, and it is 49.2 millimeters from lug to lug. So very contemporary, very nice look of the chronograph. Losing those 2 millimeters from its waistline is truly contributed to sex appeal of this beautiful Hamilton chronograph. The stainless steel case is fully polished, and it features hard angular lugs, which are kind of cool on this watch. It has a large, very retro pushers on the for the chronograph. So also very large crown. The pump pushers are even larger, eh? So the case back is solid, but it's really nicely decorated. I like it a lot. And there's a small pusher at 10 o'clock, which is utilized to advance the date. Altogether, the case is well done. And you know what? For this, you get this little cute age with a little pick, which they give you like with the idea to forward the date on the watch by just pressing it here. But in all honesty, any toothpick would do the job. Just don't use the metal because you can scratch it, but the toothpick is just fine. Why is it like that? I don't know. I don't honestly have the comprehensive knowledge of the movement that I can explain why did they choose to do it that way. But it is that way. I find it different. I find it charming. I find this kind of stuff separates you from... I have quite a few chronographs in my collection. So even when I recommend you chronograph, you know I have some high-end chronographs. And when I tell you that this is competing with them in every sense of the word, you can take, again, that to the bank. It's a truly beautiful watch. And at this price level, you can do better chronograph-wise. So the case is well done. I mean, I think it would kind of maybe improve it. But I always like to have a bit of a contrast with the brushed, polished mix. But you know what? I mean, it's probably for this price range not to expect some amazing contrast. It is a nice case. It's well done. It looks really quite beautiful. Now, this downsizing of the watch from this original one of 42 millimeter has done miracles for this aesthetics, but it didn't just make wearability better. I think also it has significantly impacted the design itself. And I'm going to kind of position it so you can understand what I'm saying in comparison to the first one that they put out. So the ditching 2 millimeters means that there is a less real estate on the dial. So the designing elements of which are present on this limited edition has to be rethought. And the result were that subdials on this one here, which I prefer, which I own, are now scaled down. They're smaller subdials, and consequently, I think the whole dial feels more balanced. The main color on this watch is actually not white. It's cream. It's cream, and I think it kind of nicely adds to the softness of the watch. It's not too harsh, and it does bring the feel of the heritage of the vintage watch. And obviously black. So it's not truly white and black. And that vintage inspired subdued look is very appealing to me. I like it. On the outside of the watch, you see the tachymeter scale with white printing, after which there is a 1/5 second minute track in a black atop the cream colored center disc. The markers, as you can see, are quite beautiful. They are multifaceted steel, polished with white superluminova, lume above each. Nice, eh? As this is a dual register chronograph, you get 2 subdials, running seconds hand at 9 o'clock, and 30-minute counter at 3 o'clock. And Hamilton's logo and name at 12 o'clock is actually vintage. And then the word automatic is placed just above the date window at 6 o'clock, with Swiss made flanks the date wheel above the 1/5 second minute scale. The nickeled hour and minute hands feature superluminova lume, while the central chronograph second features black lacquer. And let's engage it. Let's take a look at the chronograph movement. And the original Intramatic had the black background of the date with the white number. I think actually I prefer this. It contributes to cleanliness of the dial. I am fine with the date. I don't want date to be too obvious. As a matter of fact, I'm not a big fan of the date complication. My favorite complication is chronograph and the GMT. The date, I mean, it's okay. I can live with it. If it's solved in a nice way, it excites me. Positioning is right. I think they did a good job on it here. I really do. And let's bring it back. Beautiful, nicely engaging, beautiful movement of the chronograph. I talked about stainless steel case, and I do want to mention that bevels, feature bevels that both constitute the bezel around the sapphire crystal and on the lower half of the case. Now the signed screw-down crown is a nice touch for added waterproofing. To be honest with you, when I looked at this watch originally, I didn't expect that it's going to be screw-down crown. And it is automatic chronograph, and I would never, ever, ever take chronograph in the water. So I don't really even bother looking into the depth resistance when it comes to chronograph. I just don't feel comfortable with the idea of chronograph going under the water. the diver and chronograph don't mix in Bear Clooney's mind. The quick advance date is controlled, as I said, to this recessed kind of like a pusher button, which almost resembles helium escape type of thing. It looks like that. And I mean, again, I wish I can tell you why is it like that. Some I found that annoying. I kind of think it's different. So when something is different, I find it cool. Movement is the caliber H31 movement, obviously not displayed. It is the power source for this Hamilton Intramatic Chrono. It is a solid movement. It's based on the ETA 7753 chronograph movement, which is from the Swatch group that Hamilton is owned by. And it is 60-hour power reserve movement, which is absolutely adequate and welcomed. It has 27 joules, and it's taking at a speed of standard 28,800 vibrations per hour. The original 7753 movement has a power reserve of 42 hours, but by using a different mainspring, it has been increased with an additional 18 hours, which is quite a good idea in my opinion. And just like the other famous ETA Valjoux movements, such as 7750 and 7753, it winds only in one direction, the clockwise. And this causes, so if you own this watch and you have it on a wrist and you feel at once some kind of vibration, don't freak out, don't get too worried. It's normal. This actually causes the movement to have a free spin in the other direction, which results in that wobbling effect of the movement and vibration, which almost feels like the whole case is vibrating. Besides the time, chronograph, seconds, and minutes, there's also the state function. So there we go. This is your a wonderful Hamilton Intramatic chronograph, automatic chronograph, Swiss made, a wonderful choice, and in my opinion, the best chronograph, Swiss made chronograph, under $2,000. If anyone can suggest anything better than this, you're more than welcome to leave it in comments. They also came up with the blue dial, blue contrast. And this one I had in my hands in the same time as this one. I chose their same size, same movement, same everything. This is limited edition. But this piece spoke to me in language I understood. This blue is a little bit underwhelming. I mean, I still like the watch, and you know what? It comes to a taste. I would say both of these are definitely better choice than what they came up originally. I think these two are wonderful choices for you. You will enjoy these chronographs, and I hope this video helped you to get a better feeling and understanding for this watch. You can once again see how it resembles the vintage piece. I hope you love this combat strap product from Aaron in Montreal. I think he did a fantastic job, and I genuinely like it on this watch. And once again, all the best to all of you from Bear Clooney.